Scotland, a pillar of the Western world. Adorned by locks that carve the countryside, bustling city life that occupies its bleeding heart, and towering mountains that plaster its distant skylines. But what would we find if we looked a little deeper? What's underneath its modern facade? What does the soul of Scotland look like? And what beauties might we find if we pulled back the curtain? Well, I'm determined to find out for myself. Joined by my adventurous wife, JC.
I am dedicated to not getting our car disgusting.
We'll spend the next 7 days on an epic road trip to one of the most remote corners of Scotland.
This literally feels like another planet.
Along the way, we'll stretch our legs in Scotland's biggest cities.
This is everything a Harry Potter fan could honestly want.
Dip our feet into the bloody waters of the Devil's Pulpit.
I think you're right, but it looks really cool.
Hike the legendary Three Sisters of Glencoe.
This is insane. It's my favorite.
Venture the windy path through the breathtaking Isle of Skye.
I'm speaking its language and she's not coming back.
Before reaching our ultimate destination, the secluded Callanish Standing Stones.
It's the only way this is gonna work. Going down.
I don't think people really appreciate what this means.
So sit back, grab a pint, and come explore Scotland as you've never seen it before. Welcome to Atlas Unlimited Journey to the Standing Stones. Since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with Neolithic anthropology. There's something about the deep past of mankind that feels brutal, cold, but somehow peaceful. If you've ever been hypnotized by those viral bushcraft videos on YouTube where people carve a spoon out of buffalo chips or something, you've probably experienced the same feeling. One of the great icons of this era of humanity sits in the UK and can be seen plastered on posters in middle school history classrooms the world over. I'm talking, of course, about Stonehenge. But Stonehenge has a problem for adventurers like JC and I. It's very popular and, depending on when you visit, crowded. Curious, I wanted to see what other interesting Neolithic sites I could find around Europe. Surely Stonehenge couldn't be the only one. In Ireland, I had the chance to visit the Eilean Donan, a Neolithic gravestone that dates back to around 5000 BC, 2,000 years older than Stonehenge, if you can believe it. And strewn across the land are other, smaller stones decorating the pastures of the locals. My first trip to Ireland with my brothers, we passed a few on our walk up to a bog, further fueling my desire to learn more about them. One day, I was deep in a Wikipedia rabbit hole when I came across a mention of the Callanish Standing Stones. Instantly, I was in love. They were beautiful, massive, the very distillation of everything that makes me obsessed with standing stones. And the real kicker? They were sequestered from the heavy crowds and foot traffic. I vowed to one day visit them in Scotland myself. And that day has finally arrived. The only problem is, the Callanish Standing Stones are in one of the most remote sections of Scotland. We're talking 323 miles from Glasgow across land and sea to get there. Not only would we need to drive through hundreds of miles of backcountry in a land we'd never been to, but we'd have to board multiple ferries, brave the unpredictable Scottish weather, then navigate across the desolate Isle Lewis in northern Scotland just to spend a few precious moments at the Stones. And we'd need to do all of that in just 7 days while trying to see as much of the beauty of Scotland as we can. Possible? Just maybe. As we prepare for our journey across Scotland, if you're a fan of these longer form travel videos where we really dig into the ethos of the places that we visit, not just those quick hits of dopamine, this is the channel for you. I hope you subscribe to us, and if you want to follow along on our trip, we've created a full itinerary for free that you can just download. There's a little link in the description, but let's get into it. For the first leg of our journey, we want a taste of the big city before we start our long drive north. We're taking a train from our hotel in Paisley over to the historic downtown Edinburgh, with the end goal of walking the Royal Mile and exploring the legendary Greyfriars Kirkyard, a spooky cemetery in the heart of the city. Our last adventure was a road trip around Ireland. Lots of driving and very little walking, and JC can definitely feel the difference.
Not loving the walk.
Our reservation for the rental car doesn't begin until tomorrow, so we confidently decided to give Scotland's train network a try. A great excuse to see more of the suburbs and side streets as we make our way to downtown Edinburgh. And Paisley was the perfect city to soak it in as we strolled.
You tired yet?
Yes.
Less than a quarter mile later, we arrive at the station and hop aboard our first train. Okay, so let's chat. Where are we right now? What are we doing?
Here in Edinburgh, and we are going to go see some of the castles, the center of town, go to Old Town, go to a few places that have inspired the dying on Eilean Donan, and yeah, kind of just explore. So it's going to be great.
What are your honest thoughts on traveling so far without a car?
I don't want to try things.
It doesn't feel like it's as like you can do as many things at once. You know, like in a car we could just spend 5 minutes somewhere and drive somewhere else. In a train we have to dedicate an hour and a half to get there, and then we have to muster up enough strength to go. Really makes you think about where you're going to go, the planet, you know.
If you don't have a lot of time, I wouldn't recommend a train because you do spend a lot of time sitting around waiting for stuff, trying to find places, trying to get the right tickets, trying to figure out the system. So if you can manage it, driving on the left side of the road, which Kim is a master at, then I would highly recommend it because you can stop whenever you want. There's gas stations along the way for bathrooms, food, makes everything a lot easier.
After spending an hour of rest and relaxation aboard the train, our legs are fresh and ready to roll as we pull into Waverley Station. And they'll definitely need to be. They don't call it the Royal Mile for nothing. Sifting our way through a crowd of fellow travelers, we finally catch our first view of Edinburgh. The history of Edinburgh dates as far back as the Bronze Age, where the ancient Edinburgh Castle was once a simple fort built by the ancient Celtic settlers. In the medieval era, Edinburgh became Scotland's royal and administrative hub, and the Edinburgh of old was christened the Royal Mile, where it now sits as an elegant blend of Scotland's old and new. And our pilgrimage there will start with our priorities in order. Grabbing a quick bite at the Bohemia Kitchen, an excellent pub and grill just outside of Edinburgh Waverley Station. Honestly, the best bratwurst I've ever had. Next, we step out onto the famous Victoria Street. While most Western cities arrange their streets in a grid-like pattern, streets in Edinburgh, like Victoria Street, have a slight curve to them, inviting you to explore what's just around the corner. Known for its picturesque storefronts and unique character, Victoria Street was the inspiration for Diagon Alley in the Harry Potter series. So it's only fair that a Harry Potter store should be situated right on the block.
So Victoria Street is by far one of my favorites just because it looks almost exactly like Diagon Alley. Just checking out like some of the cute boutiques that are along the street, especially the Harry Potter shop. It has everything a Harry Potter fan could honestly want. So we have some fans in my family, and they're gonna be really sad that they missed out. So yeah, lots of fun, like the chocolate frogs, for instance, the wands. So you can really kind of get lost in the magic of the store. They did a really good job at putting it together, so I'd highly recommend you go check it out.
Turning the page on our Harry Potter perusal, we continue down Victoria Street, emptying out at the George IV Bridge, where the towering Scott Monument sits looming in the distance. The Scott Monument is one of Edinburgh's most recognizable landmarks. Built in 1844 and towering over the Princes Street Gardens at 200 feet tall, this stone edifice is a Gothic revival and features a spiral staircase that leads to a panoramic view of downtown Edinburgh. The structure was built to honor the late Sir Walter Scott, a famous Scottish author whose works went on to inspire some of the greatest authors of our time, like Dostoevsky and Victor Hugo. Around the base of the monument, you can often hear bagpipe players, performing for the patrons walking the streets. The Scott Monument really brings into perspective the uniqueness of the Scottish architecture. It's certainly something that we don't see much of on the west coast of America. I hope we one day go back to designing for beauty rather than convenience. Stepping away from the Scott Monument, we head further down Princes Street, pausing to snap a quick shot in front of the Royal Scottish Academy. We then turn off Princes Street and onto the Mound. This road connects the old and new Edinburgh and will take us up to Greyfriars Kirkyard.
Honestly, first thoughts is this is my favorite place for a reason, and it's because it just has that old world feel to it. It's really neat to be able to experience the history as we walk around and be able to see kind of the older buildings and some of like the Gothic look that some buildings have. And like I've said before, I really like architecture, and so being able to just experience that and just be able to see that on a wide scale has been really great. And we can honestly just get lost here, so it's been a good experience so far.
After our picturesque walk along the Royal Mile, we finally arrive at Greyfriars Kirkyard. Stepping through the eerie gates and into Greyfriars Kirkyard, an uneasy chill works its way down your spine. Originally constructed in 1620, Greyfriars Kirkyard is the burial place of many of Edinburgh's most notable historical figures. One in particular, Thomas Riddle, inspired a certain fantasy villain, though I'm not going to say his name. In the 17th century, the kirkyard was the site of the Covenanters' prison, where hundreds of Scottish Presbyterians were detained by King George II for refusing to abandon their religion. The many ghost sightings in the graveyard are said to be these long-deceased prisoners, whose restless souls still search for respite. But to give those ghosts some credit, if I was to come back and haunt a place, Greyfriars Kirkyard would be on the top of my list. After a somber stroll through the bone-strewn cemetery, and one quick snack later, JC sounds ready for the trek back to our hotel.
Initially, I was feeling pretty worn out because obviously you've seen we've just been walking around and my legs are dying. Honestly, always pack good shoes. That was my first pretty much mistake. So we've learned from that experience now. Being in Edinburgh has been one of the top places I wanted to visit, and of course we haven't been able to stay as long as we wanted, but just got some hot food, like we're feeling reinvigorated. My legs are feeling ready for their next adventure.
Little did JC know she was being a tad optimistic when it came to her legs' staying power.
Let's see you go, Limpy.
Come on. You got a clearing. Okay. Okay, go. Limpy, go. Go, Limpy. Oh my heck. So far, we've trekked by train from Glasgow to Edinburgh, indulged our inner Potterheads in Victoria Street, and explored the Royal Mile on the way to Greyfriars Kirkyard. But if we're gonna make it to our final destination of the Callanish Standing Stones, we're gonna need to say goodbye to the big city and hightail it to the Highlands. For the first leg of this drive, we're going to start from our hotel in Paisley and travel to the outskirts of Glasgow, where the Devil's Pulpit will be our very first pit stop.
Just beyond the outskirts of Glasgow is one of Scotland's most hidden, but I think most unique places to visit. And it's got quite the bloody, brilliant name.
Devil's Pulpit? That's what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. So do you think he's teaching today? Are we gonna get some good sermons?
The devil, yeah, at his pulpit.
What's he gonna teach us today? I think we're late, actually.
You know why they call it the Devil's Pulpit, right?
Why?
So inside the stream, there are rocks that pop out that are kind of mushroom shaped that look sort of like pulpits.
Oh.
And of course, the devil part comes from the water, right?
Yeah, the red bloody water.
Mm-hmm.
Where innocents have died. Just kidding.
No.
I'm kidding.
That we know of.
That we know of.
The Devil's Pulpit, or Finnich Glen as it's also known, gets its bloody red hue from the sandstone rocks that make up the gorge. And we just have to see it for ourselves.
Can you hear it?
The slashing of your galoshes?
The slash of my galash.
Should I do it in more of a Zealander
No,
voice?
the river.
The slushes. Oh, yes, I hear the river.
Determined to dip our toes in the creek, we set off down the path, looking to find the telltale staircase that leads down into the gorge. But little did we know, this path would be much harder to follow than initially anticipated. While there are multiple trails, there's only one way in and out of Devil's Pulpit. Or technically two, if you don't mind dying.
This is a cliff. We're gonna have to, yeah, it doesn't go down any further. It ends here.
No, I think it keeps going.
Okay, you be my guest.
Okay.
You keep going. It literally is a cliff edge. Don't do it.
I think you're right, but it looks really cool.
Yeah, but you don't know how sturdy it is.
I can see footprints. I know people. Whoa.
So I can fall.
Like, look, you can see like a rocky chasm.
Careful.
Oh man, I gotta pull the other camera out and show you.
A fall from here would see you tumbling 70 feet down into the Finnich Glen. Almost certainly fatal if you're top heavy like me and always land on your head.
I'm excited to check that out.
Hey, Rocky. Oh my heavens.
Yeah. This is so cool.
With fresh footprints in sight, we press forward down the trail.
I almost don't think this is the way.
I'm seeing the footprints of other people. Pretty sure this is the way.
But look how steep this is. The other one went down.
Yeah, this one goes down too.
Well, yeah, in the slickest cliff-like manner. I'm telling ya, this just gets steeper, like...
It's fine down here.
Yeah, I just feel like there were other people going on that other path that was going down at a better decline. This is just straight down. Oh, mother lover.
The signs are bleak, but I'm confident that we're on the right path.
Like, where is the river? Like, that's the river, but that's too thick that it's not red. I think we missed it. I'm gonna slide to my death. Shiz, this is really unbalancing. Okay.
There you go.
It's the only way this is gonna work.
There's our way out.
All right. Wow, someone really took that fence down. They're like, I'm not going under this thing.
It was indeed the way out. We'd finally found it. Just the wrong way out.
You want to tell the people at home what happened?
I don't want to talk about it.
Tell the people at home, JC. Why are we back in the car?
This life's pathetic sometimes.
Okay, aside from that.
Kim, actually, I mean, if we're really going to place the real blame here.
Okay.
Kim wanted to go down the path more traveled.
I saw somebody go a wrong direction, and evidently we followed them the wrong direction, and we ended up at the worst part of it, and there's no access to it. So we're going to show you lovely folks at home which direction to go.
I was getting to that part.
It
took my thunder.
For those intrepid explorers at home who'd like to go the correct direction, once you step into the parking lot, you're going to want to follow this road all the way down across the bridge, and you'll see a small gap in the sidewall. That's where you want to enter.
We ran across the Scottish guy that super nice gave us the advice of not going the way we were going to go for our second attempt, and actually telling us to come down this road because you will save yourself from having to trek through a lot of mud. And secondly, it goes across the bridge. It's a little bit of a trek down, so it's not for the faint-hearted. It's really awesome to get some advice from somebody that's local. Yeah, really kind gesture, so excited that maybe this will be a little bit easier.
After several hours of bushwhacking, we're finally here, the Devil's Pulpit.
Not you.
It's a verdict.
It's not some faint-hearted.
No, it is definitely not.
Coming down is one of the sketchiest things to watch and do.
It's stone steps, and the stones are not always the shape of an actual square.
Well, I thought for sure too the water was not actually going to be red.
Yeah, the water.
It's totally red. It's really red. It's amazing.
The moss on the rocks is really cool. Just how red and just how green everything is. See, the contrast is really cool.
And you have the falling leaves, just making it look like a scenic autumn wonderland.
It's amazing.
Exhausted, we pack our muddy boots back in the car and steel ourselves for the drive ahead. The next leg of our drive will take us out of the suburbs and deep into the heart of Scotland, mountains, lochs, and all. Our next stop will see us pulling into the Three Sisters of Glencoe, a legendary trio of mountains that stand as guardians at the gates of the Highlands. And the drive there is more beautiful than we could have imagined. Of all the places I visited, none felt more at home as a road trip than Scotland. Its roads smooth and easy to navigate, its sparse highways carve elegantly through the Scottish countryside, leaving every place you visit feeling almost untouched. The wild Celtic landscapes dance enticingly just beyond your car window. Scotland has officially welcomed us in. The Three Sisters lie in the heart of the mountain range known as the Bidian Nambian, a name which literally means the peak of the animal pelts in Gaelic. The valley this range rests in is called the Valley of Glencoe and spawns dozens of walking trails just off the road, a hiker's paradise and a videographer's dream. But we're not in search of just any ordinary walking path. We're on the hunt for the best view of the Three Sisters. To do that, we're going to need to journey a little bit further. The trails feel like a winding maze, and to an extent, it's actually intentional. In the past, a trail known as the Corrie Gale was used to hide sheep by the MacDonald clan. In 1692, the Three Sisters was the site of a horrible slaughter called the Massacre of Glencoe, where the MacDonald clan was killed for their perceived disloyalty to the king. Just up the road, we find the trail we're looking for, and now our trek to find the perfect vantage point can begin. The Three Sisters were formed millions of years ago, first with volcanic activity, and then with glacial deposits carving their way through the mountainside. creating the unique blend of scenery that we see today.
It's magnificent, really. Like, I think that's the main word I could use for it. Kim thought he liked Ireland the most, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And it's hard to like kind of compare them because you're like, okay, each one is its own and they're all beautiful. But I mean, let's be honest, people have their favorites. Me personally, I love fall, and I have always loved the changing colors of trees, just how radiant and deep the colors are, and just really appreciate that type of beauty. And I honestly didn't think that it would be to the extreme level here for October. It's just insane. It's my favorite.
The beauty of the Three Sisters and the stillness of the fall air combine in a breathtaking experience. One we'd highly recommend if you're planning to visit the Highlands yourself.
How you holding out?
Good. Just almost tripped on my face. I say up here would be the best area.
Yeah?
It seriously feels like summer.
I know.
Like, I'm gonna need my hat. I'm coming. Fall? This is not fall. Our fall is colder than this.
I agree.
Maybe the mountains are blocking a lot of it. I feel like a fun way to make hikes enjoyable is when you just get to go up to a place, sit down, have a little water, a little cracker, you know, just a little bit of snack.
Yeah?
Yeah, we should get up there and just enjoy
Have a
it.
little picnic?
I think we should. Oh, mother, that is so deep. Oh, that's a cool caterpillar.
Yeah?
Pretty sure that one's poisonous.
Doubt it.
Wow, there's like a full little river just right here.
Yeah?
It's so freaking cute. Could you imagine having a house up here?
So, what do you think of the Highlands, Jason?
Well, we've had a little bit of exposure to it. This is just pretty much our first day of really seeing much. This is the Three Sisters in Scotland, and it is breathtaking. Like from the moment we were leaving our Airbnb, I wasn't expecting to see like cinematic, beautiful landscapes right out of our window, but that's pretty much what we got. So we started driving, and there's all these beautiful lakes, the colors of the tree in the autumns. Here is just like fall here is absolutely stunning. I would probably come back just for fall because it is unlike anything you've ever experienced. I'm from the US. It is just not anything close to this. If you are somebody that loves fall and the aesthetic that goes with that, this is just gorgeous. And really the weather isn't too bad.
We're covered by all of these different mountains.
Yeah.
And so it feels like a very gentle breeze when you do get
Right.
wind. And so the
not bad.
ambient temperature is really nice. So it's definitely the perfect weather for exploring. The higher up you get, the more wind you feel, but down kind of in the valleys where most people drive and you step out and take beautiful photos, that weather there is just phenomenal. We've actually had to shed layers because we would start our hikes fully geared up, and by the end of it, we're just lugging around way too much.
I'm holding everything, and it's funny because along some of our hikes, we would see people shed and leave like a hat along the trail, just like on one of the rocks or something. But yeah, that's kind of what we experienced, is these little heating vests and something to keep your neck warm, gloves and a hat. Really, you don't need too much more than that when you're hiking around and kind of working up a sweat. So, and the hike here was pretty easy, honestly, for being this high. The inclines aren't super intense.
A lot of easy spots to take breaks too, like a good rock to sit on, good footing. You're not forced to walk in sludge. You've got some nice rocky outcrops that you can step over and use to kind of get a better foothold. It really is made for hiking.
And for all those wondering, I do have an OnlyFans account for all the food that I've enjoyed here. Going down.
Get over here. This is my best friend.
And this is my series featuring me.
No, it's
with
not.
My
This
best
is not.
friend, Kim.
She's not even here. This is basically, she's just.
Somebody help me. He only hired me to hold his bags.
This is my Sherpa, JC.
This is my Sherpa, JC. We're dorks. This is cute.
Yeah, this is cute.
No, we're cute, but this is gorgeous.
This is gorgeous. We're cute.
Let's go.
Descending back into Glencoe Valley and hopping in our car, we have our first experience with one of the mainstays of traveling through the lochs, ferries.
Surprisingly enough, even to us, we are now on a ferry. It has been an interesting road to get to this Airbnb. We were navigating on our map, no mention of a ferry, to our Airbnb, no mention of a ferry from them either. All of a sudden we're like, oh, so, okay, it's navigating us to a boat. All right, we're going on a ferry.
We both got on here and we're like, what do we do? Where do we pay? We don't have a card. We don't know how to do this. But evidently you just pull straight up. The guy walks up to you and you can just swipe your card.
The guy was super, super nice and complimented us on our accents.
Thought our accents were pretty cool.
Which is so funny.
Ooh, time to roll.
Go. All right.
Oh, I can feel the boat moving. Wow.
This is so weird.
I agree.
It's funny because I told our Airbnb guy that we'd be a little bit later, and now I'm like, does this mean we're gonna be even
later
more
than that?
later? Because now we're on a boat.
Well, this is good because we're gonna have to take a ferry to get over the Callanish Standing Stones. And now going on this makes me know the system. I'm not as worried about it. That's good.
And now we can sit and relax and eat our magnificent dinner of cheese and Lunchables.
Oh, let's
we
do it.
actually found the Scottish version of Lunchables. It is amazing. This is gas station food. $1.65 for this. This would literally be $5 in Idaho. In Idaho, I mean, we're the stinking state of dairy and milk and have a lot of that available. I mean, obviously we're known for our potatoes, but yeah, so it's just crazy the price difference. You can go to a gas station and buy a ton of freaking food for like $19 because each thing is like $1. Whereas at a gas station, they start at $3 and then they bring it further and further up.
Look, we're already basically there.
You're such a freaking liar.
No, I'm dead serious. Look.
No, they're moving. We're not moving.
We are moving. We are on the boat right now.
But yeah, you'd feel it though. Oh, wait. Now wait.
We've been moving this whole time, JC.
You're so full of crap.
No, since the alarm went off, we started moving. Look, the house is coming closer to us.
Oh gosh, those are houses. I was thinking it was a boat. From this far away, it looked like a boat for a couple of seconds.
Hurry and eat your food. We're gonna run out of time.
I'll take it dog.
After surviving our first ferry ford, We're now ready for the next leg of our journey, driving across the Isle of Skye. Along the way, we'll pass by Eilean Donan Castle, catch a glimpse of Dunvegan Castle, and get a glimpse of Neist Point Lighthouse, all before our final stop of the day at Veil Waterfall and the historic Old Man of Storr. This is set to be one scenic drive. Hidden beneath the Isle of Skye's glassy surface lies a rich history of legends, epic struggles, and druidic mysticism. On our 100-mile sojourn, I hope to take a piece of the magic with us. Each loch in the Highlands is beautiful on its own, but at our first destination, Loch Duach, Loch Alsh, and Loch Long converge together. At the dead center of this confluence, a small castle known as Eilean Donan sits perched watching over the three waters. It was said that in the 6th century, the Irishman Saint Donan established a monastery on a small outcropping of rock. While a modest site initially, a rugged castle was built on the island in the 13th century to help stave off Viking invaders. Today it stands as the first foothold into the Isle of Skye, greeting hundreds of thousands of travelers like us as they pass through. On the other side of the Isle of Skye lies another castle that tells a different story. Dunvegan Castle has been the seat of the MacLeod chiefs for over 800 years. Built in the 13th century, Dunvegan Castle provided a strategic overlook, guarding the lochs from enemies and invaders. The castle itself is still owned and maintained by the MacLeod family, where they offer tours and house exhibits featuring relics of their clan's past. Out on the edge of the world lies Neist Point and the Neist Point Lighthouse. Perched on the far west corner of the Isle of Skye, the lighthouse became a guardian angel for sailors traveling since its construction in 1909. And its striking cliffs echo the beauty present everywhere across the Isle of Skye. There are hundreds of places to visit and so little time, countless adventures just waiting to be discovered. In the back of my mind, there's this dread, a feeling that I'll never have enough time to be able to see it all. It's hard to stop yourself and just take a moment to be still. But in this moment, she taps you on the shoulder. As it turns out, the Isle of Skye is just as much a feeling as it is a place. When you've left this kind of a mark on history, on the lives of the people who visit, you emanate a feeling that you can't miss. And it stays with you long after you leave. After a brief pit stop on our drive, JC and I get the chance to experience a slice of authentic Scottish culture.
Okay, this is IRN Bru. It's a Scottish drink. It's pretty popular here, but we've never had it, and I want JC to try it. I just had a sip. I'm not going to tell you what to expect, but you got to try it.
Just has a buff man holding up the brew.
It is, that's probably the flavor.
Brew.
It's just the flavor of a buff man.
Buff man? Oh dear. Bred in Scotland to a secret recipe since 1901. It smells like cream soda.
Yeah?
Yep.
That's good stuff. You gotta swallow it. Yes, yes, it's good. I promise.
That's disgusting.
It is not disgusting. That stuff's so good.
It tastes like NyQuil. No, I know what it tastes like. The strep throat medicine when you have like a sore throat or strep throat.
No, it does not.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding you. It tastes like the same crap. My mom gave me that stuff so much as a kid. Like, legit.
Flavor
they
out of
just
10.
bottled up the medicine. Flavor out of 10? Can you give it a negative number?
Honey.
Anybody that feels like it's a good time drinking a little bit of cough medicine, you would love this drink. It is not good for anyone that does not like cold medicine.
I cannot even believe that. I love it. Whatever.
Okay, Kim.
After tantalizing our taste buds with the IRN Bru, we pull up to Bridal Veil Falls at the foot of the Old Man of Storr.
You ready for this?
Almost, if I can get your phone in my pocket. It's a big pocket. It can do it. It can do it. Got it. Oh, there's one single cow by his lonesome self. Let's go see if we can touch him.
Earlier there was like 4 up there.
Yeah, like 4 to 6 different cows. So they were all over the place, and it was the most picturesque picture ever. And we got out of the car, and then they all left. So I was like, oh, well, there goes that shot. Oh well.
Bridal Veil Falls is a bit of a hidden gem on the Isle of Skye. Located just down the road from the Old Man of Storr, it's a perfect place to get out, stretch your legs, and see some of the local livestock grazing out on the island.
It was actually formed from a landslide. It's about 160 feet, is what they say. So I don't know if anyone's actually gone up there to measure it. I know for me that looks like one heck of a hike, so I won't be taking a tape measure to it anytime soon. But any of those that would feel, committed to making that hike and double checking, be our guest. Hey, look, guys, I found a giant. Here's the giant from the store. Look at this foot. Look at this foot size right here. Like legit, this is a giant. Check this out. There's my foot size. There's this foot size.
You have tiny feet though. I don't think that's saying much.
No, I have a 9. Oh, check that out. Little feet. Sorry, I get very distracted by the smallest of things. I'm speaking its language and she's not coming back. Gonna try not to fall in. I feel like this is a bad idea. I am dedicated to not getting our car disgusting. Dang it. Oh man, got it everywhere.
After a short drive down the road, we set our eyes on the misty Old Man of Storr. Steeped in legend, the Old Man of Storr has a long, storied history. According to folklore, a giant once roamed these mountains. When it passed away, it was buried, leaving only its thumb jutting out of the ground. That thumb is the prominent spire of basalt rock, rising over 160 feet in the air. If you're up for a bit of a hike, it's 2.4 miles up to the Old Man of Storr and back down. A brisk 1 to 2 hours, depending on how long you take soaking in the beautiful sights of the Sound of Raasay. One day I hope I get the chance to return to take the hike myself. But for now, I'm content just admiring it from the roadside, as it pierces a hole in the clouds and cuts its way through the evening fog. So far, our journey to the Callanish Standing Stones has been breathtaking. We've dipped our toes in the blood-colored waters of the Devil's Pulpit, blazed a trail up the Three Sisters of Glencoe, and carved a path through the Isle of Skye's most eye-popping attractions. But now it's time to head up to Uig Port, where we'll catch our ferry up to Isle Lewis, and our final destination, the Callanish Standing Stones.
So we're here at the Uig Port. We just got through a big drive through the Isle of Skye.
Gorgeous.
Amazing. What did you think, JC?
Yeah, I didn't think it'd get better from like the Three Sisters, and it did. It miraculously did. So we recorded some 360 footage for about an hour driving through the entire thing, and I'm so glad we did because I want to relive all this because it's not enough to see it once, that's for sure. I would love to live on this little island, so we just need to take up sheep herding or something super remote so we can live here.
Yep, I didn't think that it was going to be this simple to get out here.
I didn't either.
For one, I thought the drive was going to take forever, but we've been taking it in chunks, day by day, going a little bit
Couple
further.
hours here and there each day.
The entire Isle of Skye I thought was going to be a multi-hour journey, but it was really like an hour just to get from south to north up to the port, and so way faster than I initially thought. And the ferry was, I don't know, what do you think of the ferry process?
Both ferries have been super easy. With it being something you don't really do in the States, it kind of seems a little foreign. Well, it is foreign, and it's very intimidating.
Pulled up, gave him our last name, and he said, "Oh yeah, I've got your tickets." Handed tickets, and all right, we'll have you go pull up into lane number 1 and come back just half hour before the ferry leaves, and we just drive on. That's it. They got this figured out.
Simple people.
But I'm excited to see what the view is going to be like on there and what the weather's going to be like while we're up at the Stones
I'll show you here in a bit.
today and tomorrow. Levy. You ready for this? Yes. How you feeling?
Seasick.
Oh, gross. Well, I have 2 things I think you'll like. First is our classic ginger beer.
Ginger beer. All right.
And the second is called Curiosity Cola. Check that out.
Is this supposed to be stronger?
It has ginger in it, but it's a cola.
All right, I'm gonna try the traditional first.
Yeah, do that.
Oh gosh, it's about time because the boat's swaying like a lot, so that's great.
Oof. Woo. Strong.
It's really strong.
It's pretty good though, right?
Stronger than anything I've had.
It's gonna do the trick.
Sounds very
But try that. I think
it's
it's a different flavor. It might not be as strong, but it has ginger as its like second ingredient.
second ingredient. So this one might not be as strong, but it's...
Yeah, but you'll have to tell me.
Kind of smells like a root beer.
Yeah?
And A little bit different than a root beer.
Yeah. No, not at all. What does it taste like?
It tastes like one of those root beer candies, but has some weird aftertaste to it.
Might be the ginger.
It's like a cream cola.
If you had to have if you had to drink ginger, which of the two would you pick?
This one tastes weird, but it's not as strong, like in your nose, you know?
Yeah.
I think I can't get over the weird aftertaste.
No, it probably just goes straight for the ginger.
I think I'd take the
You at least know what
ginger.
you're getting here. We'll check back in 15 minutes and see how you feel.
Probably feel better.
Ginger in tow, JC's seasickness starts to subside, and just in time to say hello to a few visitors.
Back over there. You see him?
No, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Kim, it's gone, it's gone.
Right there. Oh my God. 3 of them together.
Yeah, there were 3.
That was
Oh my
amazing.
heck. I got that one. Oh, Kim, they're at the back.
Really? Look at that.
Seeing these dolphins swimming just outside the window gives JC an idea, and we head to the upper decks to get a better look.
Nobody's out here.
I wonder why.
I wonder.
JC.
Dang it.
JC.
What? Can you see me? Hear me?
Zero garbage overboard policy. You know what that means?
What?
You can't jump over.
But.
Is one of over 500 islands on the west coast of Scotland known as the Hebrides. Only approximately 93 of these islands are inhabited, leaving the rest secluded and teeming with biodiversity. On our ferry ride up to Isle Lewis, the beauty of this archipelago is on full display. After shooting this majestic clip of the flag waving in slow motion, I wanted to see if I could get a similar shot of my wife. Though I think it looked better in my head. But thanks to JC's good sportsmanship, I was eventually able to get one. For the most part. All in all, the ferry from the Outer Hebrides takes about an hour and 40 minutes. But if it had taken twice as long, I wouldn't have minded. It made for a heck of an adventure. After our relaxing ferry ride from Uig up to Tarbert, we still have quite a drive ahead of us before we reach the Callanish Standing Stones. Little did we know the drive itself would feel worlds apart.
Slower. It's gonna be a big one. There we go. How much?
This is all being recorded now, you know that.
Oh, dang it. I'm not a backseat driver.
No, she's a passenger seat driver.
I'm not a passenger seat driver.
Driving across the frigid plains, this landscape feels more alien than human.
JC was mentioning this on the way down here. This literally feels like another planet. It does, doesn't it? Wow.
Considering its remote location, it's hard to believe that there's anything up here at all. But Isle Lewis has a fascinating history. Humans have been inhabiting the island for over 5,000 years. From the 9th to 13th century, Lewis was part of the Kingdom of the Isles, a Norse Gaelic realm ruled by Viking leaders. In 1266, the Treaty of Perth ended the Norse rule, and the Isle Lewis became part of the Kingdom of Scotland. But that Viking heritage can still be felt today. Cities like Tulsta and Arnold carry their names from that period in history.
My goal? To visit the Callanish Standing Stones, to see the land of my ancestors, to stand where they stood, to feel what they felt.
Breathe the air they breathe.
And in a way, it's like a homecoming. JC's quest:
To touch a sheep.
to touch a single sheep, a Highland sheep. And if it kills her,
I will still
it's worth it.
go. It's worth it now.
Closing in on the Callanish Standing Stones, approaching the end of the road at the edge of the Scottish Kingdom. The beauty seems to grow deeper, like colors at the edge of a rainbow. Before long, our footsteps finally fall on hallowed ground.
We finally made it. And I have to say, this is probably the best time to show up too. The clouds are just perfect, painting the sky, and there's way more than the photos made it look. So, we gotta go check it out.
The Callanish Standing Stones are more beautiful than pictures could ever do justice. And those that erected them long ago certainly knew the best place to put them.
I just can't even believe it. Like, there was no ticket booth, there was no anything. It's just, there's a gate, just walk in, close behind you. I don't think people really appreciate this, what this means, just the legacy. It's just powerful. Being here is just, you can feel it.
Callanash, as it's known in Gaelic, was assembled in the Neolithic period between 2900 and 2600 years before Christ. They comprise of 13 stones arranged in a near-perfect circle, with the stone at the center being over 15 feet tall. Scientists theorize that it may have been used as a lunar calendar, or possibly for ceremonies, but its meaning is still unknown to this day. There's so many questions I wanted answered. Why a group of people 5,000 years ago would travel to the edge of the world, gather the heaviest stones they could carry, and arrange them so beautifully. What inspires us to create the monuments that outlive ourselves? In the end, the stones didn't give any answers. But they gave me something more incredible than I could have imagined.
magnificent. I think that's the main word I could use for it.
So it is currently a little bit past midnight, and I was getting some stuff out of the car, and I saw what looked like a green glow on the horizon. I'm pretty sure it's an aurora.
I hopped in the car and drove back to the Standing Stones to say goodbye one last time, and was able to capture a picture that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. While our journey to the stones is done, there's still a few more adventures to find on the way back. JC went on to try to touch a few sheep, which went about as well as you'd expect. We sat down for a delicious meal in Stornoway and reminisced about the amazing adventure we'd had.
The only girl I know who puts a heated vest on and gloves to eat ice cream.
The night before we left, JC took the time to video every single corner of our Airbnb. Since our journey, she's developed an obsession with building her own tiny home. Our drive back through the Isle Lewis was bittersweet. It was hard to say goodbye to such a beautiful island. For our next journey, we'll be heading to Iceland. To help curb our costs a bit, we decided to pick up meals at Aldi before we left, paying a little extra to bring them in our carry-on. On our way back, we had to stop at the famous Loch Ness. JC didn't know I couldn't hear a thing she was saying. Just beside the loch, we stopped for a bite of pizza next to the McCaskill Museum. I'm probably related somewhere.
Can you believe JC ate that entire pizza? What a pig.
And as though a gift from heaven above, we discovered Black Isle Dairy. I knew we had to try their self-serve milk machine.
Okay, so I'm gonna try this out. This is the fresh milk, straight from the dairy. It's the best milk in all of Scotland, and it is the freshest milk I've ever had. So, 100 out of 10.
Yeah, this place is amazing, and I wish more places would do stuff like this.
Just like that, our adventure in Scotland was over. But our next one was just beginning. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Atlas Unlimited. Journeying across Scotland was incredible. There's so many things that we didn't get to see, and I know for a fact that we're going to be back in Scotland before you know it. Our Ireland video just crossed 100,000 views, and that is incredible. I can't believe that we've been able to get so many eyes watching that video. We also just crossed 2,000 subscribers, which is awesome. If you haven't subscribed, please be sure to do that. It lets us know that you want to see what else we're doing. If there's any places in particular that you want to see us visit, please comment those below as well. We definitely take a look at that. Our next videos are coming up shortly. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next one.